There's a road in the distance and a light in the dark. There's a song for the lonely and a rest for the heart. Where the highway meets the heart, that's where Rusty plays his part. Songs for tired souls tonight, by the fire, by the lake. You're listening to Rusty, songs for tired souls.
Well now, pull up a chair a little closer tonight. Fire's burning steady, but the stories, they might wander a bit. This is Rusty, and tonight we're talking about strangers, the kind you meet once, but remember longer than you should. Got a story for you, too. Don't worry, I'll only leave you hanging a little.
Boot prints in the gravel, moon hanging low like a sign. Moths dance on a busted neon highway humming behind. One gas pump still breathing, rust chewing up the chrome. Wind chimes tapping on a screen door like it's calling me home. I walked into this quiet town where every porch light flickers out, like they're hiding from the dark I'm dragging in. Empty swing set, one lone dog watching me like it knows my songs. Guess a stranger's just a shadow blowing in. Window glass full of curtains, drawn tight as folded hands. Old blue pickup on cinder blocks, tails locked in the bed. Dust halos round the street lamp, bugs circling their last prayer. I hear my name in the gravel crunch, but nobody's there. I walked into this quiet town where every porch light flickers out, like they're hiding from the dark I'm dragging in. Empty swing set, one lone dog watching me like it knows my songs. Guess a stranger's just a shadow blowing in. Is this where roads come to rest, or just a place they pass? I trace my past in the busted glass of a storefront going black. I walked into this quiet town where every porch light flickers out, where the silence feels like something deep and thin. Empty swing set, one lone dog watching me like it knows my wrongs. Guess a stranger's just a shadow blowing in. Yeah, just blowing in.
You ever notice some strangers feel familiar, and some familiar folks feel like strangers? Ain't got an explanation for that, but I've learned to pay attention to it. Trust your gut, it's usually smarter than your group chat. All right, let me tell you something. Few years back, I pulled into a gas station just outside a town that didn't look like it wanted visitors. Lights were on, but nobody was rushing. There was one truck parked out front, old, beat up, looked like it had stories it didn't share. I go inside, and there's one guy behind the counter. Didn't smile, didn't frown, just looked at me like he already knew how long I'd be staying. So I grab my coffee, and he says, "You passing through? Or getting stuck?" Now that ain't a normal question. So I laughed it off, but he didn't.
Pulled off where the neon flickered. Hand-painted sign said open late. Parking lot gravel, fresh rain on it. One truck, my car, and a heavyweight. Doorbell chimed a little too eager. Old man smiled, but his eyes stayed flat. Clock on the wall stuck at 3:30. Something in me whispered, don't sit down for that. This place ain't right. Exit 17 in the middle of the night. Curtains drawn tight. No wind, yet they sway. Every word feels rehearsed, like they've practiced every stray. I should pay and drive away. Many board letters, all crooked. Same 4 items, nothing new. Floorboards creaked where I wasn't walking. Radio hummed a hymn I almost knew. Woman at the counter knew my name somehow. Said she'd seen me a lifetime back. Her smile held steady, hands kept shaking. Door felt too far for me to track. This place ain't right. Exit 17 in the middle of the night. Curtains drawn tight. No wind, yet they sway. Every breath tastes like dust. Every glance asks for trust. I should pay and drive away. Bathroom sign hanging sideways. Light buzzed loud, then cut to steel. In the mirror for a heartbeat, I was someone else against my will. Oh, this place ain't right. Exit 17 in the middle of the night. Headlights call me back out to the lane. If I stay for one more round, they might write my name down and never leave this place again.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Rusty's Road Coffee. It ain't fancy, it ain't pretty, but it'll keep you awake long enough to regret your decisions. Rusty's Road Coffee, because sleep is optional. Here's a little wisdom from the fire. If something feels off, don't argue with it. You don't need proof to trust a bad feeling. That's your mind doing its job. So I pay for the coffee, and before I walk out, I ask him, "What do you mean, stuck?" He leans on the counter, real slow, and says, "Most folks don't plan on staying, but sometimes the road don't let 'em leave." Now I'm standing there thinking this guy either needs better hobby or I need to leave. So I walk outside, and that truck, it's still there, engine's off. But I swear, it wasn't there alone anymore. This part of the show is sponsored by Campfire Insurance. Covers bad decisions, long nights, and conversations you wish you didn't start. Campfire Insurance. We can't fix it, but we'll sit with you. All right, friend, here's tonight's question. Have you ever had a moment where something just didn't feel right, and you couldn't explain why? Tell me about it in the comments. I'll be reading them, probably with the lights on. I stood there for a second, looking at that truck. No sound, no movement. Then I hear the door behind me open. That same guy calls out, "You might want to leave now." So I did. Didn't even finish the coffee. Drove straight through that town. Didn't look back. But here's the part that stuck with me. About 10 miles down the road, I checked my rear view mirror, and that same truck was behind me, headlights off.
Headlights carve a tunnel out of midnight. Two-lane ribbon running straight and thin. Motel signs fade like half-told secrets. Same old song on the dash again. Empty fields stare back like they remember every name I swore I'd leave behind. But there's dust still hanging at my bumper, like I thought I can't outrun this time. Something's in my rear view, keeping pace. Just a pair of shadows tracing every turn I take. I press down harder, road keeps rolling on, but the dark behind me only grows as the miles get gone. If I ever get where I'm going, will that ghost stop following? Mile marker green in the high beams. Wind talks sharp through a busted vent. Phone lights up a hometown number. Rings out once, then dies again. Every curve throws shapes across the window. Tail lights blinking far, yet feeling near. I can't tell if it's a truck or a memory, but it rides my bumper like regret and fear. Something's in my rear view, keeping pace. Just a pair of shadows tracing every turn I take. I press down harder, road keeps rolling on, but the dark behind me only grows as the miles get gone. If I ever get where I'm going, will that ghost stop following? Maybe it's your old Ford on my highway. Maybe it's a life I never chose. Maybe it's just road dust climbing skyways, or every lie I told you lined up in a row. Either way, it's right there in the mirror, breathing on the glass, spelling out my name. Something's in my rear view, keeping pace. Just a pair of shadows tracing every turn I take. I press down harder, road keeps rolling on, but the dark behind me only grows as the miles get gone. If I ever get where I'm going, will that ghost stop following? If I ever get where I'm going, will that ghost stop following?
One last thing before we let the fire settle. Not every road is meant to be understood. Some are just meant to be survived. So, trust your instincts, and don't stick around where your peace don't feel welcome. And if a stranger asks if you're getting stuck, that's your cue to leave. This is Rusty, keeping the fire lit and the stories honest. Until next time, watch the road behind you.
Static's down to a whisper. Coffee's gone, but the sky's gone clear. That old dashboard saint still smiling, like he knew we'd make it here. There were hours we were hydroplaning on the edge of turn back now, but your laughter cut through the thunder. Guess the road believed us somehow. We're riding the signal, chasing that faint glow. Thin as a pin, every mile marker, read start over again. We're riding the signal, leaving that hard rain back where it's been. If the night comes round, we'll just tune it in again. Sunrise stains a rear view, pink on the mud and chrome. All those broken plans and brake lights fading in the dark behind our home. You said, promise me when it gets heavy you don't pull the curtains tight. So I'm cracking the window, let the breeze in, let the last of the storm roll out of my mind. We're riding the signal wind, chasing that faint glow. Thin as a pin, every mile marker, read start over again. We're riding the signal, leaving that hard rain back where it's been. If the night comes round, we'll just tune it in again. Maybe the map keeps lying, maybe the road bends twice, but we got your old coat, my old hat, and a pocket full of second tries. So here's to the callers and drifters, to the ones who made it through. Turn the dial just a little bit higher, hear a late voice saying, this one's for you. We're riding the signal wind, chasing that faint glow. Thin as a pin, every mile marker, reach start over again. We're riding the signal, leaving that hard rain back where it's been. If the dark comes back, we'll just tune it in again. We're riding the signal, ran to the wind. So gentle.